Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here, this is Urban Politics, where politics lives. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. As soon as you have a chance, after this video, as a matter of fact, please take yourself on over to YouTube, like and subscribe, Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive, because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so first of all, let's talk about the new buzzword on the right is woke. Woke. They'll put woke around anything that they want to demonize, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they want their base to think that they're sticking it to libs. How do you stick it to libs? No better way than to get at this quote-unquote woke culture. But being woke only means to be conscious, right? If you're awake, that means you are like me and you are right now, right? We're awake, so we're conscious. We're aware of what's going on, right? So, unfortunately, what the right has done is they tried to take something that was getting pumped up on the left and use it against the left, but they always mess it up because they're not smart enough to use words against somebody else when they don't even understand the words themselves. Let me go ahead with the story. You'll feel me when I'm done. There's a list of stars, right, who have refused to perform at King Charles's ceremony. You know, the Queen is gone, so now he's supposed to be taking, you know what I'm saying, his mom's place, rightful place now as king or whatever, and there was going to be a ceremony, but, you know, the likes of Elton John said no thank you, Spice Girls, nope, Adele, nah, Harry Styles, I'm cool, and Robbie Williams got other things to do. Literally, now Elton John, his cabinet put out there and said, yeah, we got scheduling conflicts. But then some of these other people followed suit and said the same thing. Yeah, we have scheduling conflicts. I think that's BS. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. And these people are what? They're English. So it was really something for them to tell the monarchy, no thanks, I don't want to be a part of your ceremony. That's a huge deal. That's a big deal right there. So the fact that a lot of them use the crutch of, I just have a scheduling conflict and I can't make it. Well, and this is something interesting. This is something I'm thinking about right now. It's not even in my notes, but I'm thinking about it in my head right now. People get invited to the White House, right? But it's always known when you get invited to the White House, no matter what you had going on, you ditch that. You got invited to the White House, so you're never too busy. No matter what's going on, you can do that at another time. You can reschedule whatever that was. You just got invited to the White House. So the fact that here's a ceremony for what will be King Charles, the would-be King Charles, and they didn't want to take part, that's interesting. That shows a change in people's thought process here in 2020, or here in 2023, right? It really does. Because think about that. That's the equivalent of a civilian being invited to the White House. I was just listening to the radio, and I wish I could remember her name, but there's a brother and a sister. Well, you know what? I'm about to give him a shout out right now, give him some plug right now. Incognito, posted on the corner. That guy. I know some of y'all have heard that on the radio show. That guy, I guess him and whoever the young lady is who does the show with him, I guess they got invited to the White House this past week. And he had to talk about it. He said, that's something we got to let our listeners know about. They were very proud of that. I get it. And she even said that. The young lady said that. Not a lot of people get invited to the White House. And 1600 Pennsylvania Drive, you can't just roll up there. You know what I'm saying? You have to be invited. You have to get the invite to be able to come to the White House. So that's huge. So think about the fact that these people were invited to King Charles's ceremony, and they said, nah, you know what? The royal family is so problematic right now. No thanks. That's amazing. That's why I want you to really check that out right there. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, the likes of Elton John, no thanks, Spice Girls, Adele, Harry Styles, Robbie Williams, woo. But you know what it is? Artists these days do not want to align themselves with colonialism or white supremacy. Number one, is bad for business. Now, I'm not saying that all of these artists are liberal or all of these artists are super conscious individuals, because that's the thing I'm saying too. Listen, a lot of people want to walk around, people on the right to, I guess these people are woke. They so woke that they can't perform, you know what I'm saying, for King Charles. Nah, let me tell you something, people on the right and conservatives, they're not woke. What they are is conscious. Hey, woke this, and actually it's the same thing. But y'all idiots don't understand the woke means conscious, so let me break it down for you. These people are conscious. They're conscious of the fact that the Queen of England has abused plenty of folk out here. And whether she did it directly herself with her hand, or people just did it in her name, it still got done in the name of England. Okay? It still got done in the name of this monarchy. And people are like, nah, I'm not going to your little ceremony and perpetuating, right, this white supremacy. I'm not going to your little party and perpetuating this colonialism, because that's what it is. That's what they did, right? I've even talked about it on the show. I remember hearing in history class how they said the sun never set on the English Empire. The sun never set on their empire. What does that mean? That means that they ran all around the world colonizing people and taking what wasn't theirs. And the sun never set on what they owned because they stole everything. There it is. So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. So that's interesting right there, but that shows a change. That shows a change. Like I said, that's a big deal for these people to stand up and say, yeah, I'm English. Yeah, I'm descended from these people who did this heinous thing. But guess what? I'm not going to go celebrate it. And that right there shows that, and that right there, you probably think I'm crazy, and you be like, yeah, you're going too far. But I'm telling you, this right here is another reason they want to get rid of TikTok. Because TikTok and some of these other outlets have really been instrumental in getting out the truth about history, getting the truth about people's misdeeds around the world. They want to get rid of that because it leads to stuff like this. When you know better, you what? You do better. And I think all these people I just named on this list, somebody been talking to them. Somebody told them something, right? Because the Queen of England, you know what I'm saying? And that monarchy, they didn't start being raunchy today. They've been raunchy for years. But it's interesting, isn't it, how these people then got hip and said, we won't be at your party to perpetuate your raunchiness. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about, there's a new law that allows minors to change their gender without parental consent. What? Where's that going on in Spain, ladies and gentlemen? Spain has a new law which allows children as young as 12 to legally change gender with a judge's authorization. So if you're 12 years old, you got to get a judge to sign off on it. I guess he would sit there and do like an evaluation on you or whatever, and make sure that you're, mentally sound, mentally with it or whatever, to be able to make this decision for yourself at 12 years old. That's interesting. If you're 12 to 14, you can change your gender with a judge's authorization. 14 to 16, you can do so without psychological or other medical evaluation, but still need parental consent. Thank God for that, right? Over 16, you can legally change your gender without parental consent. All of this is going down in Spain. This is very interesting. I like a lot of other parents, I'm sure they wonder what they would do with this. I was talking to a friend of mine at work a little while ago, and I was telling him how my son, for whatever reason, when he was 3 or 4 years old, we were in CVS Pharmacy, and he started reaching for a car. He said, I want that car. And my son, he has very rigid views about what's for boys and what's for girls. Now, I don't know where he got that, because I never gave him that. I never sat down with my son and had a conversation and said, look, boys get into cars and trucks and are construction workers, and girls are nurses and teachers and stuff like that. Because number one, I never say that because I'm a teacher pretty much by trade. Have been pretty much all my life. I've worked with the youth. And that's what my whole life. All I've been in is women-dominated professions or a woman-dominated profession, right? I've worked at daycares. I worked at schools as a teacher and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So these are women-dominated fields. I've worked in mental health. These are women-dominated fields. So I would never give that message to my son, but somewhere he got that, and I didn't give it to him. I just remember being in a CVS Pharmacy. He started reaching for a car. He wanted a truck. He wanted to play with the racetrack. You know what I'm saying? He liked the action, figures or whatever. So that's interesting, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? So that's something I never had to deal with him for whatever reason. He got that message. He took it on early on. Oh, this is for boys and this is for girls or whatever, right? But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes people have different views of those different things. And if your child is like that, then you have to deal with it, right? What do you do with that? That's something to deal with, you know? So that's interesting that they got that going on in Spain. I don't know if I deal with this because I'm not going to lie, and I've come under fire for saying this. I feel like sometimes these ages are too young. I don't think an 11-year-old is ready to say, I'm gay or I'm straight or I'm trans or whatever. You know? Now, 16 to 18, that's cool. I kind of feel like we should do it like we do everything else in this country, pretty much, except alcohol. Alcohol, you can't indulge in that until you're 21, but when you're 18, that's when you're an adult and you can get into pornographic movies if you wanted to. You can get into smoking if you wanted to. And I think that's when you should be able to determine your gender if you want to. I think when you're 18, you should be able to be like, hey, look, I'm an adult and I identify as this and I don't identify as that. My whole life, people tried to assign me to that and I'm not on that, I'm on this. But I think at 18 is when you're smart enough and old enough to have the wherewithal to say that. If you disagree, ladies and gentlemen, please, once again, you in the pushback zone. Push back on Phys Ed Music. You know I love the pushback, but that's kind of how I feel. At least 18. Now, you know what I'm saying right here. Over 16 can legally change their gender without parental consent. I hear that. I'm like, whoa, I think that's kind of young, but that's just me. So like I said, if you got some pushback for that, give it back. There is a doctor. His last name is Anderson. And she identifies as a transgender woman. She's concerned young people are caught up in the excitement about sexual and gender minority labels. They might be adopting ideas about themselves that may not last. She fears young people will use such labels to make decisions for themselves. And there it is. I was watching Joe Rogan, and he had said something about he feels like all these transgender kids are guinea pigs for all this new medication they got or whatever, but they don't know how good it works or what it does with people or whatever, and these kids are standing up in line to take it because they feel like they're transgender or whatever, and they're kind of jumping on this bandwagon. I don't know. I research this all the time because, believe it or not, it fascinates me. It really does. It fascinates me, and I'm just like, man, you know, my heart goes out to these people because it's hard enough to be a human being, but feeling like you're a human being who may be a man who's trapped in a woman's body or a woman who's trapped in a man's body or whatever, feeling like you're not the gender that you were assigned, that right there, that fascinates me. You see what I'm saying? So I get that side of it too. And here's a woman who herself is transgender, and she's even saying that she feels that a lot of young people are getting turned on to this just because it's kind of the new thing and it's kind of trendy, and they're kind of wrapped up in the fact that these, you know, they want to be a minority because this kind of makes them a minority, right? I don't know. It gets deep. I would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, do your own research, but that's interesting right there. I wanted to talk about that, but we see right there in Spain, they done drew kind of some lines in the sand right there, and they giving some young kids a whole lot of dictation over their own sexuality, aren't they? Is that right or wrong? I don't know. You make up your own mind. Anyway, moving on. Look, Rupert Murdoch, and Fox News. You don't know Rupert Murdoch, owner of Fox News. All this stuff came out because of the Dominion versus Fox case. And what that is Dominion, the people who make those voting machines, Fox was given, you know what I'm saying, a platform to all these wingnuts. And I've talked about them ad nauseum on this show. Sidney Powell and Giuliani and some of these people going on and on about how the election was rigged and all that other crap. Well, they messed up business for the Dominion voting machine people. Of course, you running around telling people that the vote was rigged and we helped rig it. That don't look good for us. That don't look good for our name. You know what I'm saying? So they sued them, rightfully so. So that's what's going on right now. Murdoch has been trying. It came out from, you know what I'm saying, documents coming from this case, right? That they said Mr. Murdoch has been trying to distance himself or distance Trump from Fox News for quite some time. I think I've actually seen that in real time because, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I do watch Fox News because I always want to know how the other side is thinking. I watch Fox News, I watch Bloomberg, I watch all types of conservative madness just to know what's going on over there on the right? So there's that. And you know what I'm saying? They said that he's been trying to get Fox to lay off of Trump. Of course. Why? They can say what they want to say, and I'm gonna go through some of this stuff or whatever they were talking about. But I think the number one reason they done with Trump is because he's a loser. He ain't winning no more. He ain't winning. He got all of them buffoons that he got to get up under him and vote Republican because of him, but they're really in love with him because they're just as stupid and idiotic as him. So there's that. But he's not winning over no new people. He does not have that type of charisma. He's not that fresh, right? And the Republican Party is done with him. They're bored with this guy. He doesn't even get voters anymore. He doesn't. Not new voters. All the people he got is the old people, and them is the people who stormed the Capitol. They don't really want them people no more. Them people, them people wanted to hang Mike Pence. They tripping. They tripping. They don't know how this politics thing works anymore, or not even. They never knew, and the Republican Party don't really want them anymore. But guess what? A friend of mine from Chi-Town, my man Ray Swizzu, what he say? You F with it, you stuck with it. So Republican Party. It's a family show, ladies and gentlemen. So Republican Party, you F with these voters, you're stuck with them, and y'all know what I'm saying. They stuck with them. So you know what I'm saying. They got to dance with the girls they brought to the party, right? They got to dance with the girls they brought. In Republican Party, y'all brought these crazy girls. Now you got to dance with them. So now they're dancing with them. They're not digging the dancing. Whatever. Rupert Murdoch also said anyone on Fox claiming the election was stolen should be reprimanded or gotten rid of. Now, it's interesting I said that reprimanded or gotten rid of. He said that because, don't get it twisted, their number one boy, their golden cow, you know what I'm saying, Tucker Carlson. He had to leave a door open for that guy because that guy spews all types of lies and madness every night. But you don't want to cut your cash cow. That's their cash cow right there. There are people who religiously watch Tucker Carlson and believe every word of boo-boo that drips from his lips, right? So he didn't want to mess that up. So he said, guess what? Maybe they should be reprimanded or got reprimanded. So he probably saying, for the likes of Tucker Carlson, whose ratings are phenomenal, just charge him a bunch of money because that'd be more money than we're getting. And then for some of these other people whose ratings suck, go ahead and get rid of them. They said he was done with Trump after the January 6th riots. I'm glad something. I'm glad some of these people weren't so far gone that there was something that finally turned them off of kissing the butts of Lord King Trump. I didn't think it'd be anything. And some of these people, January 6th didn't do anything but just bolster their acclaim and love for the guy. But at least Rupert Murdoch is not so far gone in his old right-wing conservative head that he ain't jump on the bandwagon with this idiot. He like, nah, this guy stormed the Capitol. He wanted to kill political figures, right? He tried to stage a coup, C-O-U-P, a coup. I'm done. I'm surprised that Rupert Murdoch had the wherewithal to put that together in his head. But at least he put that over the money. And first of all, they don't put anything over the money, which leads me into my next point, ladies and gentlemen. When asked why, Rupert Murdoch, when he was asked why he continued to give Mike Lindell, you know Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, this idiot, this buffoon who sells pillows for a living. Pillows! Whatever. When asked why he kept giving that guy a platform, you know what he said? He said, it's not about red or blue, it's about green. There it is, man. There it is. I tell people all the time, man, Trump and some of these other rich white guys, they have the same mentality of any dope boy off the block I've ever been cool with or ever had a conversation with. It's all about the money. People got hurt, I don't care. We got paid. And that's all you'll ever hear from these guys. And it's the same with these guys. It's the same with the likes of Trump. It's the same with the likes of Rupert Murdoch. He tells you right there, I know I'm pushing a message that hurts people. I know I'm pushing a message that kills people. I know I'm pushing a message on America that's super toxic. But guess what? It ain't about red states. It ain't about blue states. It's about the green in my pocket, baby. Because I'm getting paid over here. Hey, that's what Rupert Murdoch said. He getting paid over here. Ching, ching, getting paid over here. And that is the state of politics in this country, ladies and gentlemen. And that's sad. That's why it's a shame. And that's why I say other countries, that's what they hate about us. Like Chris Rock even said too, they hate the hypocrisy of our democracy. They don't hate us. They hate the hypocrisy of our democracy. Moving on. Last thing I'm gonna talk about is when I bring is it's funny, I'll be talking about Chris Rock, Hypocrisy or Democracy. Last thing I'm talking about is his special on Netflix. Watched it last night. Amazing. If you haven't seen it, take some time out your day, check it out. It's so good. The special on Netflix called Selective Outrage, right? Selective Outrage. I was like, man, that's a really good title. And I looked that up. Okay, Selective Outrage, they said it's outrage against a moment or an incident that is aligned to your ideology. And that makes a whole lot of sense. And I don't want to give too much away. No spoilers on this because I'm not giving anything away. All I'm going to do is tell you it was really, really good. The jokes were really, really funny. He touched on all types of stuff, current events, being a father, children, all types of stuff like that. And then the last thing he ended with was the Will Smith stuff. That was like literally the dead last thing he talked about was the Oscar stuff and all that. And it was funny because if you pay attention to the special as I did, because I study comedians, I love comedians. I love hip hop and I love comedians. At the end of it, he's talking, right? And he messes up a joke. And he even said, hey man, I effed up. He said, oh, see, I effed up that joke. Because at that point, he wasn't doing a special anymore. He was just letting the world know how he felt about that situation because it's been talked about and mulled over and made jokes about by everybody else on the planet. And I've heard that, I guess, some people have seen him live here and there, whatever. He's interested in stuff, in some of his stand-ups or whatever. But this was his chance to really speak to it, and that's what he did. He really was speaking to it, but in speaking to it, he kind of got so caught up in it, he got to the point he wasn't even telling jokes anymore. He was just talking to you like you were one of his friends and he was talking about this event, you know? So it was just really, really good. But I loved it to death. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing that he ended with I thought was just so poignant. And check this out. He said, people asked why I didn't fight back. And he said, because my mama, and what he said, because I have a mother. And he would start clapping all that. He said, and my mama taught me you don't fight in front of white people. Now, this had came up when this whole incident was fresh or whatever, and some people had said stuff like that then. And then there were some people who stood on the side of saying that we as black people have to get out of that, feeling like we have to act a certain way in front of our abductors and our captors and massa, acting like we can't be ourselves and do whatever, right? I hear that. But here's what I also hear, and I think here's the side that Chris Rock was coming from because he's closer to my age. I'm 46, and what I do know is, and I talk about it on the show all the time, the black community is a bigger community. We are a family. Some of us don't even want to be a part of that family, right? But when we make comments, what happens? That family comes out and they lambaste us. Because whether you want to be a part of the black community or not, if you wearing this, then you are a part of it. And it ain't even necessarily you that makes you a part of it, but it's everybody else with eyes that makes you a part of it. So you're a part of it regardless, right? So when you're a part of this black community, we will critique you. We will talk about you. We will talk about events that went down. You don't like it, you don't like it, whatever. You know, there are plenty of black people who spend their entire lives surrounded by people who don't look like them. Because they don't necessarily like themselves. They don't necessarily like people who look like them. But let them mess up. And Black Twitter is coming for them, right? Because even though they've distanced themselves from that community, their skin color makes them a part of that community. You can't get away from it, right? So it is what it is. But I say that to speak to this right here. You keep family business inside family, right? So you don't find yourself fighting and going at it in front of other people who are not family. That just is what it is, you know? I remember years ago, my brother who's a Muslim, you know what he told me? He said Muslims have a whole lot of different factions of Muslims. And a lot of times they fight amongst each other. He said, but if you step in the room and you're a Christian, then we're linking up together. We're both Muslim, you're a Christian. It's all about Allah over here, you on some other. And that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with black folk. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? We got to link up, and at the end of the day, that was family business. You know, that wasn't anything to do in public. And it was a shame, and I lost a lot of respect for Will Smith because he did do that in public. Because that's family business. When you got beef with family, you do that behind closed doors. You know? When you got beef with one of your boys, you don't sit there and yell at them in front of people. Nah, you be like, hey, bro, step into my office, and let's discuss this real quick. That's how you handle that. And that was really uncouth and real common of Will Smith to just handle that in the public like that. You had beef with you know what I'm saying, Chris Rock. You could have called him because Chris Rock even talked about that, how he's like, man, I love this man. I've been cool with him for years. You know, so the fact that it deteriorated to that messed me up. You know, and you know what I'm saying. So I don't, like I said, no spoilers. I don't want to give nothing away. Check out the specials, real good. But point being, I feel Chris Rock on that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's family business. You handle that amongst family. If you was mad at that man and want to smack the taste out of his mouth, you don't do it at the Oscars. You don't do that. You let that ride, and then you give that man a phone call and be like, hey, bro, why you coming at me like that on live TV, man? You know that, and then y'all hash that out in a phone call. It is what it is. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That is my time. I'm about to bounce. But before I do, let's talk about my IPA of the week. It's a doozy. This Juicy Truth Hazy Juicy IPA from Rhinegeist. Rhinegeist has some really good IPAs. I've reviewed plenty of their beers on the show. This one right here, they say this Juicy Truth. Some truths are juicier than others. Brewed to unleash the bright tropical aromas of the generous hop bill. This hazy IPA is brimming with pineapple, mango, and citrus notes. Log off, catch the wave, and enjoy. Yeah, this is a good beer right here, man. This Juicy Truth, I dig it. I gotta get some more of that. And like I said, those no, I got all this, man. That grapefruit, mango. I don't like mango and all that, but the tropical kickback that you get from this is really, really good. It is 6.5% alcohol, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to feel this. This is a really good IPA. So if you got some money in your pocket, you run out there and get that Rhinegeist Juicy Truth Hazy IPA. That's a good little sippable beer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I am your humble host, Fizzhead Music, and this right here is Urban Politics, where politics lives. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, tell a friend, tell your mother, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell whoever. You know what I'm saying? To check out Urban Politics and go over to YouTube and like and subscribe. Urban Politics, where politics lives. And what can I say, ladies and gentlemen? As always, see you around like a donut.